Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the English news from Djibouti channel. Here are the top story for our news. New Ethiopian-Somali peace initiative for the settlement of the border dispute between Djibouti and Asmara. Back to the school, the Manfop launched the last preparation for the return of the school. On continental news, 40 deaths and nearly 400 hospitalized after epidemic of cholera. That was our headlines, and now let's get to the details. The President of the Republic received this morning the delegations of Eritrea Foreign Minister Affairs and the Ethiopian Minister of Foreign Affairs, as well as the Somalian Minister of Foreign Affairs. The discussions focused on strengthening the peace momentum in East Africa and laying the foundations for peaceful solution to the border conflict between Djibouti and Eritrea. This visit is intended to open a new chapter of relations between our country and Eritrea. The three-part delegations were composed of the Foreign Minister of Affairs of Eritrea, Osman Saleh, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, Mr. Warkane Gebehu, and as well as the Somali Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Ahmed Issa Awad, and the Special Advisor of the Eritrean President, Yemeni Gabramiskal. These discussions were focused on the ways to find solutions about the border dispute between Djibouti and Asmara country. After the meeting with the President of the Republic, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Eritrea, Mr. Osman Saleh, told the press that the interview with the President opens a window of relations for all the countries of the Horn of Africa. Let's listen to the Minister.
About our relationship, that was a little bit in a different order, but today we came here to open a door for our relationship, and I think it is very successful. And this relationship is not only with the Republic of Djibouti, it is with Ethiopia, with Somalia, and this will continue also with other parts of the Horn of Africa. And we are planning just to reintegrate the economy of the countries of the Horn of Africa, and this will go beyond what you call Eastern Africa up to the whole continent. Therefore, we are on the shores of the sea, Indian Ocean and Red Sea, and we are very complementary to each other, and we will strengthen the relationship with Djibouti, and thank you very much. And I hope this will be solidified, strengthened by our what you call the relationship we make together.
For his part, the Foreign Minister of Affairs, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, said the visit of the three-part of delegations, Eritrea, Ethiopia and Somalia, will open a new chapter with the return of peacetime between all countries. He added that he congratulated the Eritrean Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Eritrean President's diplomatic advisor for their visit, hoping for normalizing relations between Djibouti and Eritrea. He said that we are happy today to visit the Eritrean Foreign Minister, Mr. Osman Saleh, accompanied by the representative of the Eritrean President advisor. This delegation came to open a new chapter for Djibouti-Eritrea relations. It's time for agreement and peace between the two countries, always support peace and stability in the region. I would like to thank the Eritrean Foreign Minister of Affairs for their country, as well as the Ethiopian and Somalia who lead the Eritrean visit, and represented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Warkani, and the Somali Foreign Affairs. Well, between the two countries, both the local and regional, that stabilize the security and also economic integration will be achieved in the region. Today we want to send a message to the public opinion of Djibouti and Eritrea, as well as in the region, that the Horn of Africa region is witnessing a new area of reconciliations and security. After that, a meeting between the minister was held at the Minister of Foreign Affairs. According to their statement, the discussion withdrew and constructive its focus on the various issues of common interest of the country and the region in general. Both sides agreed to work together to restore peace and stability in the region. This important visit is the result of a collective effort by the countries of the region and represent a valuable initiative of rapprochement between these countries, as well as an important step towards the strengthening of peace and stability in the region, while contributing to the economic integration of the Horn of Africa. The three parties delegations were composed of Minister of Eritrean Foreign Affairs, Mr. Osman Saleh, the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Ethiopia, Warkani Gabayo, as well as the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Somalia, Mr. Ahmed Isa Awad, and Special Advisor to Eritrean President Yemeni Gabriel Meskel. In the beginning of the afternoon, the Minister of the three Foreign Affairs of the three countries left Djibouti to Asmara. At a time with the new school year getting ready for the new school year, the Djiboutian government reminds us that the upgrading of education, the quality and the equity of education system constitute the major sliders of orientation initiative to stimulate national development that require a better process and strategy at all levels. Also, wherever may be instituting on the web, the patent investigators still patent always quick and including to denigrate the country without a shadow of proof. The upgrading of education is the best guaranteed to build a state, granting cohesion, social protection, and then ensure the protection of all. The family is the first base in which the individual is structured and fulfilled, and as much as such must be the center of all attention, especially when it's precarious and fragile. Historically, and in the face of the high cost of living of the poorest family, active national solidarity has constantly prevailed in our country. These long established priorities will be approved free of charge. This morning, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, received in his cabinet the courtesy visit of the U.S. Ambassador. The interview was attended by the Secretary General of MENFO, Mr. Mohammed Abdullah. During the interview, Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud had fruitful and constructive exchange with the U.S. Ambassador. The Ambassador's visit provided an update on the excellent cooperation relationship between in the field of education in Djibouti, the question of the quality of teaching, and especially the various USAID projects, including the rehabilitations of schools and various topics, were discussed. At the same time, the exchange between the two parties have made it possible to strengthen the relationship between the two sister countries in the field of education, with the significant support of the USAID project. Finally, the MENFOB and the U.S. Ambassador have made the commitment to keep in close contact in order to continue working together. And now we regret to announce the sudden death of our colleagues Amina Mousse today in Jeddah. Amina was born in 1961 and leaves behind her 4 children and 4 grandchildren. She joined the RTD as a host on September 9, 1981, wife of our colleague Abdul Qadir Kahia. The deceased was appreciated for her kindness and abnegations at work and her fierce determination to contribute through the broadcast. She animated the progress of the RTD. The Djibouti radio diffusions has just lost a dear one, which will be engraved forever in the memory of each of the staff of the RTD. The management and all RTD staff extend their deepest condolences to the family and loved ones of deceased. May Allah exceed her and welcome her into His vast paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raj'un. And now let's move to the continental news. Cholera outbreak in Nigeria caused the 440 deaths and nearly 400 hospitalized. Most cases and deaths occur in the Madinatu and El-Speaking EDP campaigns in the northern east of Madinatu came from around the capital of the state. Said this region is facing the arrival of many refugees fleeing the jihadist group of Boko Haram. 200 volunteers recruited the World Health Organization's about 200 volunteers to research suspicious cases house by house to make sure the transmissions is stopped in record time. It will take a more treatment center because cases are in the race, said the responsible of the volunteers. In September 2017, at least 35 people were found dead during another cholera outbreak in ID camp near Admigiro. The deteriorations of the security situation in Libya warns the United Nations, which is saying its crisis resolution scenario shatter. Violence between militaries should not jeopardize the holding of legislative and presidential election scheduled for December 10, warned French Ambassador Francois, but the UN Special Envoy Ghazan Salame seemed to already prepare a B plan. Is a failure of the processes of political transitions in Libya that has been made by the UN Special Envoy, who even seemed to the prospect of elections. If the legislative is not ready soon, we will change our approach, the Special Envoy. There are other ways to achieve a peaceful political transitions, and we will support them without hesitations and even with enthusiasm. Here we arrive at the end of this news. Thank you for watching us. Have a good night.